Here's a great adventure. Mate of mine, Mark, and I decided to do the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail, well, part of it. So we're going from Moore to Blackbutt return, which is just shy of 60k. So we started here on the road, obviously, and turn in to the rail trail. So this is Australia's longest rail trail. It's 160k each way. We're only doing 30 one way. And it obviously isn't used as a railway line anymore. In fact, hasn't for many years. And the Queensland government turned it into this rail trail, which is fantastic. I've ridden this before. Amanda and I did the full length, end and back again on our mountain bikes, 320k in 4 days. This time I'm using my new gravel bike, or as I keep saying, my road bike with gravel wheels. And after riding both of them, I prefer the gravel bike. It's fantastic, this bike. I can't say enough good things about it. So glad I decided just to build up a set of 27-inch wheels for it versus buying a new bike, because I don't have any more room in my garage. So the first town we come to here is Linville. You can see all these caravans. You can actually do free camping at all these spots. So you can pull up and camp for a couple of days and go ride the trail or run or whatever you want. Now this is the uphill section. Now being a rail trail, it's not steep, because rail trails can't be steep because trains can't go up them. I reckon it's maybe 2%, 3%, I couldn't tell you, but you're working, you're sort of pushing. It feels really dead, but it's not hard. It's not a hard climb at all. And actually very enjoyable. You just get into a rhythm and away you go. So you can see the shadow of Mark on the side there. Him and I have been riding together for 25 years. Starting to get a bit hot off of the jacket. It was cold. It was about 2 degrees when we started. Being winter here in Australia. Now these little dips, or whatever you want to call them, there used to be bridges that went over the creeks here. They're long gone, rotted away or dismantled or whatever it is. So they built these little concrete paths. There's another one now. And you have to go down through lots of these. They're quite steep going in and out. So my advice, select your gear to come out of it. See those dudes there on those electric mono wheel, whatever you call them. We were back and forth with them for quite a while. So this is Mark's first gravel ride actually, and he does a bit of cyclocross that he uses this bike for. He actually has this is a proper gravel bike, but he uses it also for cyclocross. So his first time out on the trails, and he had an absolute ball. He's sold on it. So we've both actually signed up to do what's called the Noosa Enduro, which is a 100k gravel race at the end of August. So we're both pretty excited after we've done this particular little ride. You'll see this dude come past me now on this electric mono wheel. What do you call these things? I don't know. Those things were flying. Who knows how many watts they got on them. And we just went at a good pace. We weren't racing. We could chat the whole way. Very comfortable, and you can see the scenery around us. It's stunning out this way. So we are in Queensland. It's only about an hour and a half drive from Brisbane, where we live. Now the trail here gets quite narrow, almost like single track in some sections, and then widens out like it does here. So it's a bit of everything through this. We've had so much rain in Brisbane, so everything's still really wet, as you can see here. But these bikes, these gravel bikes, or mine, just goes through this stuff, no dramas at all. So we come into Banarkin now. So we're at the top of the hill. It's about I'm going to say 11, 12k climb. And you can see there's caravans everywhere again. So another place you can do your free camping. There's a little shop in here. So a lot of you won't know what I'm talking about as far as location, but if you're near Brisbane and you have a gravel bike or a mountain bike, come and do this trail. It's just brilliant. I'm going to start doing it far more regularly. So we're off to Blackbutt, which is our turnaround point. It's not far from where we are now. I was worried that riding my road bike on slippery surface, my back would get sore, but it didn't. And funny enough, my back does get sore on the mountain bike. So there's a real bonus for this bike. The fact that I've got no suspension. I've got 38mm tyres with 40 PSI. I thought maybe my back would get sore, but it didn't. In fact, it was brilliant. And I love the fact that this bike is just set up in my road position. All I do is swap the wheels out. Really simple. So I'm really used to this position is what I'm saying. So here we are at the turnaround point, just under 30k, Blackbutt. Nice little spot. I actually did a duathlon here many years ago. So there was all train stations, of course, in these towns back when the train line was going. So it took us just under an hour and a half to get here. So 28.98, let's say 29k. So the thing is, it was basically uphill on the way here, so it's going to be pretty well downhill on the way back. Just under 1 hour 30. See, Mark is very particular with his equipment, and I'm not.
Yes.
So, you know, he would have had to make sure that didn't scratch or anything. Well done, mate. 30k.
Yeah, mate, we've done it. That's good. I mean, I think we actually possibly set a world record.
For us.
It's just the officials, they didn't expect us to be this fast, so they're not even here.
We beat them. Blackbutt, Roy Emerson Museum. So the gravel bike, or should I say the road bike with gravel wheels, is performing beautifully. 38mm tyres, would not need bigger than that. Well, not for this anyway. Head on back.
Let's get it on.
Come on, you can do it. Now I think we're gonna have a bit of traffic going back. So predominantly downhill on the way home, which makes it really fun. My mate Mark is a roadie. I'd call him somewhat of a serious roadie. He certainly rides most days and does a lot of road racing and crit racing. And again, as I said earlier, first time on the gravel bike, so hopefully we'll convert him over to this. Because those who know me know I prefer the dirt over the road any day. And this gravel riding, this is going to grow. This will be huge, I know it will. There's talk of gravel triathlons starting, and I'm really looking forward to that. No cars, just nature. So we're going to up the speed through the mud, see if it's easier. Oh, this isn't it. Except we're not there yet. I'll try again in a second. All right, muddy bit. Our bikes did get filthy, obviously, with all the mud, but nothing a hose won't fix when you get home. Squirt her off. Oh! This section was a bit gnarly. Probably the boggiest section on the whole road. Jesus Christ! Maybe not go too fast. Here's another one of these dips. And they're really steep coming out. So as I said, you want to select your easiest gear. Talking of gearing, I've got a 44 chainring on this bike because I only run a single. So that's what I've always used for it as a road bike. And I've got an 1140 cassette. One of the nice things about disc brakes. So 44/40 is the best I've got, but I didn't have any dramas with that. If I did some more serious racing with some longer, steeper hills, I'd probably put a 46 on the back. So 1146. This was another little gnarly section. So I got to cross a few roads, as you saw us do there. But it's pretty easy to see where the trail goes. Signage everywhere. And you ran into Mark there. Fuck, we made that look hard. So we're back in Banarkin now, and this is the start of the range going down for us this time. So this trail had been shut for a couple of months, longer actually, because of the floods and the rain and everything. It's only recently opened. So I was pretty excited about this downhill section. gave it a bit. Probably getting up close to 40 down here, I reckon. Actually, probably not, but it felt like it. Mark was a little more reluctant. His first time, as I said, on the dirt, so he was getting used to his bike and the surface, how slippery it is, but I guess from years of mountain biking, maybe I'm a little more suited to it, but Mark will get there. One of these dips, as I came out the other side, I hit the concrete, the lip on it, and my handlebars slipped. So I do have a 4-bolt clamp on my headstand, but it slipped. So my handlebars dropped ever so slightly. It felt really weird. So first thing I did when I got home actually was put the bars back to where they normally are. It's amazing how a couple of mil difference can feel so strange. So fast forwarded here. This is the downhill section. You can see again it gets quite narrow in places. So they would have dug all these cliffs and everything out for the train. You're falling off. So if you're going to get into gravel riding, forget everything you know about road as far as average speed is concerned. The average speed is much lower. I think we averaged 22k an hour. As I said, we weren't racing, but we were going, I'd suggest, probably medium-ish pace. So we weren't dawdling. But 22, that was all we did. So allow that. We knew this was about 60k. We actually allowed 3 hours, but we got it done much quicker than that. You can see those cattle grids we went over there. So last time I did it, you had to stop at them and open gates. But they put all these little cattle grids in so you can ride straight across now, which is nice. Because of course you've got to open the gate, go through and then close it. I should have gone down here on the concrete. A little lip there I can come in on and washed out on the other side. But you know, these gravel bikes, road bikes, whatever you want to call them, they're very capable. They really are. Don't be worried about riding this stuff. Bikes are strong. My bike's aluminium. The Specialized Lace Sprint, I love it. It's 4 years old now. There's another one of those cattle grids. Heaps of people we ran into on this path. So it's quite a long vid, as I said, but I really wanted to show a lot of what we actually rode for anyone who's maybe thinking of doing it. And here's a good indication of what you're going to see. And it's really not hard. You go at your own pace. It's very rideable. There's nothing horribly technical. The most technical section would be those dip sections going in and out of those creeks, but otherwise, no problems at all. So if you've been thinking about it, get out there and do it. Being in Brisbane, we don't have a lot of gravel roads that close to us. So this is one of the few that we can really get to. Now we drove halfway through it to start the ride. If you start back a bit, you can probably get there in 45 minutes to an hour from Brisbane.
Well, that seemed longer coming down than going up for some unknown reason.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, well, we've done almost 51 k's now.
Yeah. Pretty good.
But we wanted to ride that climb, that 12k climb. That's why we started where we did.
So, you know, like, whenever we come out here, if we sort of assume we average 20, give this idea of a timeline.
So coming back into Linville, so we've gone down the range now. And actually not far back to Moore, our starting point. Definitely going to bring the van out here and do some camping. This is probably where I'd stay. I really like this little town. It's got a pub, it's got a little shop. Very touristy, always a lot of people. It's got amenities. There's an old carriage there you can see that they used to drag up through this rail line many years ago. So you can't get lost on this. As I said, it's very well signed. As you can see here, it's an open paddock. So beware of cows. We didn't see that many. Another road to cross. We're out here on quite country roads, so you don't have to worry about too much traffic. And back onto the dirt. So this is the last section. This section here is actually, looks like we're going through someone's farmland. There's a house a bit behind us and you feel like you're going through his yard. You're not, of course. I guess he shares it or something. Now this is probably one of the steepest dips, particularly coming out the other side. So this is the only time with my gearing, my 44 chainring and 40 on the back, where I probably was pushing harder than I wanted to. But that was probably the only section. And it's really steep here. The camera never gives it justice. I'm going to say this was probably 25% or something. You just grit your teeth because it's never long. And there you are at the top.
Jesus, that wasn't very friendly.
Mark's got 38mm tyres on his bike also. We both ran at 40 psi, and that was perfect. If I did it again, that's the pressure to be at. Mark's got the bigger wheels, the 700C versus my 27.5 inch, but basically the same. I'll put a link up. You can see how I converted my bike to gravel, or fitting gravel wheels to it. For anyone who's thinking of doing it, as long as you've got the width in the frame, you can do it. But I did downsize my wheels so I could fit bigger tyres. And here we are back at Moore. And that was it. So a bit of a fast forward version. As I said, it took about 3.5 hours. So from Moore to Blackbutt and back. Isn't that nice? Drag his sorry ass the whole ride and he out sprints me to the finish. Amanda went for a run. She's sitting in the van, made herself a coffee.
Hello. How come my bike looks dirtier than yours?
No, probably not. Not when you come up.
Maybe you did more work.
Maybe I went further.
No.
Shake again. Thanks, mate.
We'll just
2 hours, 35 minutes, 58 kilometres.
Oh, why didn't you go to 60?
Because Blackbutt was where it was.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for riding with us.